Mate, there's some shorties this weekend, but I'm sensing some of the shorties might get up, but there's a bit of an ambush kind of happening.
Oh, yeah. Look, there's a shorty in the Toorak handicap that's been all the rage since the autumn time, and both of us are keen to take him on. Not giving away too much.
No, but there's been some big statements made on this podcast.
There really has. Yeah. There's also been some big price things back in this podcast. You have a couple of big each way odds that you think are absolute get-ons this weekend. I've got a $61 pop.
Yeah.
That gave a bit of a push for.
That came out of nowhere.
Yeah, you've got to listen to find out.
Yeah, you do. But if you're going to have a bet on some each way things, some shorties, some $61 pops, where would you have a bet like that?
The good people at Ned's, as always, thank you for looking after us. You can do anything you like on there. You can get weird and exotic too with the good people at Ned's. So maybe that's the way to play this weekend with maybe some quinsies, maybe some tries, maybe some quaddies. There's also got the profiles on there with Ned's. You can follow us in if you like. See what we're tipping. It's a little community on there. We love it.
Absolutely, we do.
But what are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
I need to ask you a question. Be curious, Drifters.
Mr. Brightside spins the ball and wins again. Zardozi wins the Oaks for J-Mac. The photo finish. Mr. Brightside or Romantic Warrior. The mare's going. Great guns. Fangirl. Look at her go. Fangirl. Imperatrice has got her. And raced on by Imperatrice by a length. Overpass. More Baker's Delight in Perth. Radina just won it, I'd say. Tom Ketton won the spring champion in a cakewalk. Without a fight, won the Caulfield Cup.
All right, we're gonna show some acknowledgement to our good friends who the Brisbane Bully, the Sydney Source, the Victorian Victim, the Morphettville Mafia, and the Perth Prince, because they deserve some plaudits.
Okay.
The Brisbane Bully now. Not the best, but 2 from 10 at Eagle Farm, including Appengirl and Yellow Brick. So the Get Out Stakes was a winner.
Yep.
I think I think we might have got the Get Out Stakes in every jurisdiction.
That's helpful.
That is helpful. So if you're looking, 2 class runners, they get the JD. The Perth Prince gets the first 3 on the card, and then the Get Out Stakes, 4 from 9. The Sydney Source gets 4 from 10, including a $10 winner in Heat of Shock.
Jam.
$10, come on, 13s. Selling the Source short. And then, what else happened here? The Victorian Victim, 3 from 10, including getting the Layered the Spring beaten, Another Wil. I had to keep scrolling through the results because I couldn't see where he finished. Might have been 6th or 7th.
He wasn't in my numbers.
And then a big shout out to the Morphettville Mafia, 5 from 10, including his best of the day. That is a hell of a result.
Half the card.
Half the card, at least.
If you don't mind.
All right. Tons to unpack from yesterday's day of racing.
Yeah, shit, it was full on.
Yeah, it was. So, Caulfield, elephant in the room. That track. Yeah.
Yeah.
7 of the 10 races at Caulfield were won by horses that were in the top 3 at the 400-metre mark of the race. So the exceptions to the rule were Jimmy Star, Kuranagi, and Bellatrix Star. Now, there's a bit of an asterisk on Antino, and we'll get to that.
Yes, we will.
But because Blake just decided to pull everyone's pants down and smack their bottoms as he went past them in the field.
Yeah, he put on the Vin Diesel Dominic Toretto nos and just went,
hold on tight.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So, did you see the reactions of? I don't know how you were watching them yesterday because you were at a fellow punter's residence.
Yes, Casa del Sneesby or Casa L Sneesby, is that how you say it?
Sure. Did you have the Channel 7 on or did you have Sky on?
No, we had Sky.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because, Channel 7 was interesting viewing because they had, the jockey reactions and that sort of thing. Did you see what J-Mac said?
No.
Post the race? gee, he can get sour grapes when it doesn't go his way. Like, I'll show you.
He's so competitive,
Oh,
isn't he?
mate, he is. So, how's this sound for J-Mac? Do you reckon he's impressed by how the track was playing?
Donald Broadsiding.
Yeah, he made good ground late. Track's really good.
I did actually see that. I thought you were talking about the Toorak, and I was like, I don't know if J-Mac wasn't a Toorak.
No, just in general, the track.
Yeah. 7 out of 10 in the first 3 at the 400 metre mark for Caulfield. Like, yeah, that doesn't read well. But at the same time, is Caulfield a track where typically you want to be on pace? Yeah. But has it dented the brilliance of other horses who maybe don't have the tactical speed to sit in the first 3? Absolutely. We want a track where it doesn't matter where you are in the running. You have every chance, albeit we know that if your horse lobs itself in the first third, you're probably more likely to run better.
Absolutely.
We know that.
Now, this isn't the first time that a Sydney horse has gone to Caulfield and lost.
No, it's not. It's not.
Like, is there a bit of an overreaction here? Because honestly, as a viewer of the racing yesterday on Channel 7, the way that they were banging on about this was so annoying. And, sorry, babe, but Katie Mallion was the worst of the lot. Katie McDonald, if that's for those uneducated. James McDonald's wife. So, before the Bellatrix Star race, right, you could tell how pissed off she was. Because they were going through them in the mounting yard, and then she was like, oh, yeah, this one will run well, but probably has no chance because of the way the track's playing. Then right before the race, Bruce goes to her, all right, Katie, last thoughts, who are you on? And Bruce, ever the positivity, the optimist, all that sort of thing, just wants to inform the punter. And Katie goes like, oh, can I actually just have a tip halfway during the race? Because whatever's leading on the rail will win. It's like, okay, babe. Well, actually, one came from back of the field and actually defied what was actually a pretty smart field.
The victim found it.
Yeah.
Victim didn't change his tip.
No.
Yeah, I could imagine that'd be frustrating to listen to. Do you know what's funny? You saying that. The coverage on pay TV, it wasn't like that. It was like, yeah, there's clearly there's a, so maybe adjust what you're doing, punters, or adjust your thinking if you want. But it wasn't they weren't really pushing it.
All right, so compare yesterday to, say, a Derby Day last year at Flemington where it was virtually impossible to make ground.
Yeah.
It was possible to make ground yesterday.
Yeah.
Jimmy Starr did it. Bellatrix Star did it. Antino did it.
Antino made lots of ground.
I feel like if you had the right horse, it was possible. So getting back to broadsiding, right? What Channel 7 do really well is they have that drone footage. And you could see, because the runner that you compare him to is Evaporate. Evaporate was to his outside, probably had a harder run than what Broadsiding did. Broadsiding was behind Tropicus, who was going nowhere, so didn't have anything to take into his race. So, yeah, had to basically loop him, and it basically wasn't in a winning position. But what he did do on the corner, Evaporate put 2 lengths on him really quickly, and Broadsiding crabbed on the turn. So he lost 1 or 2 lengths there, and he only lost by 1.5 lengths. So I don't think he got around Caulfield at all, but he ran super.
He did. I haven't seen the sectional data or anything like that. So I don't know, were they walking in front?
Definitely.
Yeah.
It was a crawl up front.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's all things considered, he's run super. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Yeah. If he's going to a Cox Plate still, which I hope he is, I'm not writing him off based on that. And Golden Rose first up, that wasn't an easy win for him.
No.
Some horses can just flatten out second up. And you've got to remember this horse, he ran deep into the winter too. And he put together a picket fence. Animo didn't win every time he went around.
No.
So just, sucks because I wanted to see him win.
Yeah.
Of course, I wasn't on him. I didn't have a cent on in the race. I wanted to see him win. But,
So I think that's where the sectional data comes in, and it's a bit fascinating. So last 200 metres of the race, he clocked according to racing.com figures, he clocked the 54th fastest last 200 metres of the race. I look at that and that gives, I don't know, initial, without delving into the sectional data too heavily for the entire card, I'm like, I feel like you want to be hitting the line a little bit stronger than that. That's just like my initial feel, but it was the fastest in the race. So I think of these 3-year-olds, he's still the clear pick to be going towards a Cox Plate.
Absolutely.
Easily.
Absolutely. Yeah, I also laugh though at like the amount of punters who would have had that broadsiding into Mr. Brightside, or was Mr. Brightside into broadsiding, and then probably another Wil on top of that.
Yeah.
And all three of them went down. It's just, you're spreading your risk across 3 races. You need to win 3 races for that multi to pay off.
To get what would it be?
It'd be
$6 return.
Yeah.
Not worth it.
Not worth it at all.
No way.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Especially, when we're picking things that place at $6.
Yeah. Yeah. Legitimately.
Legitimately.
So you had Antino on top.
I did, yeah.
You had a late change.
I did. I just I was keen on Desert Lightning for the tipping comp if it was double figures, but as soon as the push in the week got it to like 6 or 7s, I was like, well, I'd much rather take the weight for age horse at 5s.
Yeah.
So yeah, I changed to Antino. Did I expect that?
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
Didn't put another Wil in my top 4 though.
All right, so let's just go through. We'll get back to Antino. Let's get back on track here. So the might and power. So the racing.com data does suggest, the sectional data, that it was a truly run race. So it was 4 lengths above Group 1 standard for 2,000 metres. I feel like if this wasn't for Blake Shinn's ride in the last, this would have been ride of the day by Mark Zahra on Deny Knowledge. This was sensational.
It was sensational. And I like Mark Zahra so much as a jockey because he's a grand final jockey.
Yeah.
And there can be periods during the year where, you don't really like, oh, when was the last time Mark Zahra rode a winner? Like that can happen to Marky. But Spring Carnival time, tell you who's top of the tree for me in Victoria.
Mark, Blake. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those two. Chef's kiss.
Yeah. And he just, I think Mark's even better when he's not on a favourite because I think he's just got a real big mongrel inside of him. And he's like, I'm going to fucking get this thing beat.
Yeah. And he's a heavyweight jockey too.
Yeah.
So it's like, in these weight for age Group 1s, he just gives them every single chance.
He does.
Love it. So I thought the way that she won this race was went out hard early and then had a breather and then just kicked away about at the 400-500 metres again, and then it was just proving too hard to run on. But I thought Mr. Brightside, I've had this thought about him previously as well because it was a good 3 track by that stage. I don't think he's as effective on really rock hard ground. His 4 to 200 metre sectional as well was the 79th fastest of the meeting. So is that getting the job done come a Cox Plate? Moonee Valley is obviously a massive tick in his favour.
Yeah.
But I can't see him running top 3 in a Cox Plate if they go there.
Yeah, I could. And my theory behind that is I don't think he's going any worse than what he was last year. Based on that, he nearly won a Cox Plate last year. If he's going exactly the same as what he was last year, then he's by definition of that. If he runs up to that standard, I said top 4 to you yesterday. I could 100% see him running top 4, particularly when I look at the Cox Plate and compare it to last year. And yeah, it's probably at the pointy end, like a little bit more, but yeah, I think he can. I wouldn't write him off.
Yeah. I think the thing that some punters, and I'm not suggesting that you forgot about this either, but if Mr. Brightside won that race, that would have been nearly Craig's best ride ever.
Yes.
Like he gave him a 20 out of 10.
Yep.
And to give him every chance of running out 2,040 metres in a Cox Plate, like if he draws the outside, he's got zero chance, none of winning. So it's like that's where I feel like the barrier draw is so important for him in a Cox Plate. Whereas like for a Via Sistina, for a Pride of Jenny, like it's not as important.
No, it's not.
So
No, it's not.
if Pride of Jenny's actually heading there, so
Yeah, and again, this just goes to show like the $1.70 or whatever he jumped at, Mr. Brightside, like toxic.
yeah.
Toxic.
All right. Tissue was good. She finished off really strong. She can run on a bit, but she can go back to back into champion stakes. I feel Flemington will only suit her better.
Yep.
So I feel like Chris is smart enough to go like, we'll lower the target here and target a champion stakes instead of Cox Plate.
And that was actually interesting with the Might and Power. Oh, jeez, my laptop's just making weird sounds. The Tissue was easily the second best backed and had 15% of the votes. Mr. Brightside had 71%. So don't feel too bad if you backed him because so did I in the tipping comp. But there was 2 people who had denied knowledge,
Wow. Very good.
which is phenomenal.
No double points though. She started $6 market.
Yeah.
mover.
So Dane Phillips had Antino as well. So well done. Who else had denied knowledge? Matthew Liddermont had denied knowledge, broadsiding, and another will.
Bang. How many people had Adelaide River? Because that's who I ended up tipping at double figures.
Adelaide River. Yeah, I can see you in there. Oh, and another fella, Nick Lee. Great segue. Nick Lee also had Private Life.
Bang.
So he had Private Life, double points, 6 points. And so did Josh McG.
Well, there you
Didn't
go.
get your full name, but there you go.
Yeah. Led every furlong Private Life. Crawled up in front. Frosty just read the tea leaves perfectly.
Yep.
Gave the others chances, virtually other horses no chance. Yeah, so we kind of discussed broadsiding and heading towards a Cox Plate, but was there any thoughts in your mind that he wouldn't be competitive in a Cox Plate?
No, oh yeah, look, you'd love to have seen him won that race, then go on to win a Cox Plate, but, I can completely forgive that performance and I can 100% see him being very, very competitive in a Cox Plate. Absolutely. I think James Cummings would have left some in the tank.
Okay. Yeah.
What about Feroce or Feroce?
I reckon that might be who my lovely wife put on top.
Nearly got there.
Yeah. At 60-1.
60-1.
Wow.
Yeah, wow, 4 drifters.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
There you go. Was one of them Jake Milne?
Let me check.
Because I reckon it might have been. Because I think he was on him last start.
Let's have a look. Yeah, we have a Prue there. Mike Joblin, shout out. Daniel Spinner. And Mick Jones, but young Mick Jones.
Junior.
He had Craig as well, actually. Craig on Craig.
Love that. All right. Now, the Toorak handicap. 14 seconds. It took Blake Shinn 14 seconds to go from last to first. From about probably the 650 to the 500, I'd say.
Yeah.
Sorry. That maths doesn't add up. About the, 650.
It was about a furlong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just over
a furlong. Yeah.
250 metres, I'd say. It was breathtaking.
It was.
It was one of the best rides that I've ever seen. So how does this kind of rank? Bowman's ride on Winks' second Cox Plate, where she looped him and just went, see ya. I think record margin in a Cox Plate. Nash on Think It Over in the Queen Elizabeth.
Hot Nash.
Nash on Kementari when he nearly put it through the fence at Rosehill or Randwick. Just total disregard for his body and the horse.
That's why he's so hot.
And tell you what, Nash is back.
Nash is so back.
Declan Bates on Pride of Jenny in the Empire Rose, the All-Star Mile, the Champion Smile, and the Queen Elizabeth. And I was thinking of this. I'm like, what's been one of J-Mac's like absolute peaches? I reckon one of the best I've ever seen for J-Mac is VE in the Melbourne Cup.
Oh,
that was
unbelievable.
Barrier 18, first one to ever do it. Found a position and she was just traveling.
She was humming.
The consistent thing on all these, right, is obviously they're very good horses.
Yeah.
But the rides just like take them to that next level. This, and I was thinking about this as well, and I'd like your opinion. I reckon once a month you see Blake Shinn, you go like, gee, like that was an unbelievable ride on Blake, from Blake. Gut feel is like, I don't necessarily feel the same way about J-Mac on that.
Yeah, I get that from you. I think we have extremely high expectations for J-Mac, and I think most people do. What I think J-Mac is so good at is they jump from the gates, and then he's in a position.
Yeah.
Like, how often do you see him get hung out to dry?
So an underrated ride from J-Mac, right, is Fangirl in the King Charles last year.
Yeah.
That was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Because for any other jockey, she sits last.
Yeah.
And he was able to get her in a position like fourth in the running.
I feel like he can almost sense where horses are going to be before they are in the running. But I know what you mean. Like, Blake Shinn can just pull one out of the hat. Like, his ride on Lady of Camelot and the Slipper was elite.
And I was thinking about this as well around this day last year. I was like, oh, who won on Caulfield Cup Day last year? Courvolant. Drew barrier 17 at Caulfield.
That's right, yeah. It was a hell of a ride.
Like, that was one of his best.
Yeah.
And I just feel like he does it like 2 or 3 times a month, where J-Mac might do it once a month. That's like my general gut feel.
Yeah. It's anecdotal.
Yeah. So,
but no, I know what you mean. He can pull one out of that hat. But at the same time, like, you know, we were just talking about VE and Winks and a few others. Antino's not any of them. But he's never gone better. Yeah. And I wonder what it was that unlocked that in him. Do you know what I mean?
It was the grand final.
Yeah.
Like, Tony Gollan's been very, very vocal about that.
I want him fourth up for the 2-rack, yep.
Yeah. So, yeah. And Queensland Residual Fitness.
Absolutely. Queensland Residual Fitness. And you know what? I think running behind Pride of Jenny for 2 races in a row.
Fitness.
Rock hard.
Like,
and he always looks good.
He's certainly pick of the yard. Missed the start by 2 lengths as well.
Yeah.
Which is why Blake did what he did. But why this ride was so good is Blake knows how they ride him in Victoria. It's like they love getting a breather up front. And as soon as he sensed that was happening, he's like, all right, boy, let's go. Bang. 14 seconds, last to first. You never see that in a Group 1.
And he was accelerating away from them as well. Like,
he won by 6.5 lengths.
Yeah. So where was the last big Group 1 winner? Oh, it was a Warmonger in the Queensland Derby. Guess who was on?
Yeah. There's been a few, like Warmonger. There's been Pride of Jenny.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So Blake was on Warmonger as well, right?
Yeah.
So he can. He's proven that he's done it before. He's probably the jockey where if I need a good steer, he's the one that I'm like most confident on.
Yeah.
Him, Mark, Zora.
Mark. He just unleashed an electric turn of foot and just put him to the sword. And I wonder, I'm like, okay, that was the grand final, but like, do you just pull up some sand and end it on a high, or like, do you take him to 2,000 meters, Cox Plate?
No, I've got the answer for you.
What is the answer?
They're going to Hong Kong Mile.
Great shout. Take him overseas, Tony.
So, yeah. And you know what? Queensland trainers have a crack.
We do
Moods,
have a crack. Robbie Heathcote, Tony Gollan. 3 of the greats. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, have a crack.
Yeah. They're actually putting our superstars on the map.
Mm-hmm.
Love that.
No, very good. It was a very good win. And do you know what's interesting? So if you look at the previous 2 races,
yep,
about 70 to 80% of the tipping comp was on Broadsiding and Mr. Brightside, right?
Sure.
And you're probably thinking, Another Wil will be pretty similar because, better the spring apparently.
Oh,
32% on Another Wil, 29% were on Antino.
wow.
So I think all the corporate speak and the media and all that sort of stuff and maybe the big dog money because Another Wil came in like there was an enormous push for him.
Smashed.
Absolutely smashed.
You know what? I reckon obviously his profile was very good heading in, albeit in far inferior grade. But the other thing was Barrett won. And I feel like he has shown at times to have that tactical versatility where he can go. And he was leading that field.
Yeah.
So it's like if he's leading that field, it's not going to be a very genuine pace.
No. I found that fascinating. So the drifters just a little bit more clued on,
Yeah.
I'd say, than the general public. So good on you guys.
Yeah. Your boy was on Alsafina.
She ran well.
She was an unbelievable drift. I think she was about $9 out to 16s. I think you got about $4 to $5 for her to place, which, that's fine. Really wanted her to nose out Craig in for second because I had a Quinella for Antino and Alsafina, but not to be. So had some listener questions here, right? Jordan Sondergaard, was that Antino or Winks in her second Cox plate? Now, you tell me if this is one of the great overreactions, and I appreciate your question, Josh Bunny. Where does Antino sit in the best horses in Australia? He's in my top 5 after today.
Clearly he was on. Look, Antino is he's a Group 1 weight for age horse, and he deserves to be in those fields. But I wouldn't say he's at the pointy end. But is he a Group 1 handicap horse? Well, evidently.
Yeah.
Evidently.
I think he beats a lot of our A graders yesterday.
Yeah.
I think he really does, but it also was set up for him because it wasn't a truly run race, and it was basically a sprint from a sustained sprint from about 900 meters, which was outstanding. But does the same result happen if Pride of Jenny's leading that field? I don't know. Don't know. And it's like, let me put it this way, Josh. Are Craig, Alsafina, Desert Lightning, Osipenko, or Kestrel in your top 5 horses in Australia? I wouldn't have thought so.
Look, yeah, he put some lengths on him, but Craig's coming out of benchmark form, even though Sandown Stakes was a Group 3, but like Jimmy the Bear was in this race. But come on, man.
Yeah, Jimmy ran 8th in a Group 1. That's about his level. Like he was beaten 10 lengths. 10 lengths, yeah, that's probably about listed at benchmark 100 grade.
Probably.
Yeah. Remember when you backed Light Infantry Man in a Golden Eagle?
Golden Eagle, I do.
He's done nothing since, hasn't
He's
he?
done absolutely nothing.
Yeah. But that was the Group 1s at Caulfield. Jimmy Starr was impressive.
He was very good. Jumping up from 1,100 metres to 14.
Heard Mick Sharkey say that, I think they figured out that this horse is just a Melbourne-legged horse.
He went up to Brisbane as well, didn't he?
Brisbane, Newcastle. I reckon he ran around Newcastle. I reckon he might have been at Rosehill or Randwick as well.
So what's the plan for him? Are they going to try to stretch him out to a mile, or is he, maybe a Rupert Clark horse?
Rupert Clark might be a good shout. Maybe a Champions Stakes, but Champions Mile. But if he can actually get to the mile, but that was very impressive.
Yeah, that was great. That was a great win. He ran them all up and put them to the sword.
No nominations in for him at this stage, according to Racing Australia. So, what's his? Let's have a look. Does it have his winning distance range? He's won up to 1,500 before. Way for age mile was probably a bit beyond him at this stage.
A little bit.
Because he'll probably be going up against potentially like Pride Jenny, Mr. Brightside.
Yeah.
That might be tough.
But no, he's got a sprint home, that's for sure. Jimmy Starr. So that was a nice win from him.
What about your old mate, Herman? Herman Hesse.
I was frustrated. Tell you that much for free because it was definitely giving him some thought. But that's just where our distance ranks are at the moment. Herman Hesse, he's about 50 years old.
He is old in equine terms, isn't he?
He is.
Yeah. Bellatrix Star.
Yeah, good win.
Very good win.
Good win. Little filly. That was an enormous step up, and some handy horses in that field.
Mate, like, yeah, I think what we learned is Caulfield is not Mornington Glory's track.
No.
Wasn't his A1. I think there was some horses there that underperformed to expectations, I would say.
Yeah.
So, like, recommendation was flat and it got absolutely smashed by the market as well. Stapati off a gelding, it's far from what you'd hope to see. What a fall from grace from that horse. A year ago, he ran third in a Caulfield Guineas.
Yeah.
Hasn't been near it since. Star Patrol, long layoff. You can forgive that. Kalos was unlucky. I think he wins a race somewhere. I reckon Kalos.
Yep.
Mahaba was a sensational return. Been trolling really well. Only gets better into a prep. And then Oscar's Fortune with the WA form was very solid. But Bellatrix Star, sensational. Mate, she's $15 with the good people at Ned's in a Coolmore.
I tell you what, a 3-year-old filly taking on the older horses and beating them like that, coming back to her own age group,
I thought that was a huge price.
that is a big price. Yeah,
Like, obviously,
maybe because it's not a typical leading race and people miss it a little bit. Maybe.
yeah,
I feel like those silks here are still a little bit underrated.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely they are. Because obviously the Coolmore this year is going to be one of the best. I feel like we say that each year, but this year it's going to be stacked. But I feel like she could cause a bit of an upset, and I've actually put it on my profiles this morning. A very juicy little futures multi, because I feel like that's been lacking from my profiles this spring. And I've got some confidence because there's a bit of rain around heading into the Caulfield Cup this week. So I've had a couple of bets.
Interesting.
There's like 30 mil on the Friday.
Oh,
So
be some juice in the track.
yeah, which I think is going to suit a couple of runners, but we'll get to that at the end of the show. So yeah, Bellatrix Star, $15 in a Coolmore. I don't think she starts that price on the day.
She does not start that big price on the day.
So yeah, she was very, very impressive. Now, few questions for the Sydney runners. Jay Meany, unpopular opinion, but Josh Buttonshaw should stop giving Snowden Mail his weekly mail in our group chat is killing us. Matt McGudden. Is Josh Buttonshaw a dribbler? P.S. He loves Nutella a little too much. I don't know what that means, but I guess you guys can let us know. Yeah. Elephant in the room. King of Russo was not the best each way bet of the spring. I was really hoping to see something in the Stewards report. No, nothing. So I think he just over-raced 11 up to 1400. It's probably just not that good either. So, yeah, far from ideal. He was running well up until that point and didn't get the job done.
It is what it is.
Like, am I ever betting it on a note in that race, being beaten 8 lengths in a Golden Rose? Probably not.
Dry track horse, isn't he?
Yeah. So it is what it is.
Yep.
But Lachlan Tognella, would you take Switzerland or Stormboy if you were Coolmore heading towards Everest?
God. There was some win yesterday, but he also didn't go around a horse. And
I think it was a soft win.
yeah. Oh, yeah, I think so. But
In a good way.
yeah. So he's on the quick backup. For a horse to even bounce back from that first up run, which was probably 4 or 5, 6 weeks ago now, and to come out and do that against, some really, really smart 3-year-olds, clearly has some talent, and the stable's been talking him up massively his entire career. Helps that he's got the Coolmore silks. Mate, I honestly, I don't know. I don't know.
I think this stinks of what I'll say at the start of this is, though. Chris Waller is an absolute genius.
Mm-hmm.
This training performance is something else. This was outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
And that it wasn't an absolutely vintage edition of the Roman console, but there was some smart sprinting colts in there. Coleman been somewhat competitive in the Moonee Valley Sprint Group 1s at weight for age level, going against his own age here. He was super with a what was a harder run in transit, but post race, Chris Waller was saying this horse is just as good, if not better than Yes, who did the exact same thing, quick back up into the Everest and then won.
Yeah.
Against what you'd have to say was a far better crop of sprinters.
He broke the track record.
Yeah. So I think the way he won, be it like a fairly easy win, not going around a horse, not a gut buster, probably sets up perfectly for him next week. So I reckon they probably pulled the trigger on him.
I think so. Do you know what as well? The reason why I ended up backing Switzerland was obviously because Nash is so hot and love seeing him in those silks. But because I thought to myself, I was like, why is there uncertainty around Stormboy being in the Everest? Well, there's only got to be one reason, because Chris Waller would be telling Tom Magna and connections of that horse, trust me, this guy is flying. If he doesn't win the Roman console, he'll run super. And they've sort of thought, well, we don't have to lock in Stormboy officially. Let's just see how he goes then. And so if Chris Waller's saying that and then he does something like that, self-interest, obviously, saying something along the lines of this horse is just as good as Yes.
Of course.
But he'll be in the Everest, I think. But I still think Stormboy would have, because there wasn't a lot of early speed in the Everest. Well, it still doesn't look like it. If he parked himself up on there, up on speed, could probably hold on. But
I was seeing after the race, about a race after, they gave a market update with Team Green. Third biggest liability in the Everest now is Switzerland. Got absolutely smashed after the race.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Because people are looking for that alternate form line.
Yeah. Traffic Warden, Growing Empire.
I think the 3-year-olds, and I'm thinking
Jolly Star.
Jolly Star is probably the other one.
Sunshine
in Paris.
Yeah.
And Steffi Magnetica. I think they're the ones for me.
I think Steffi's the forgotten horse.
Because she's like 15s or something. That's next week. What the hell?
Yeah, let's have a look at the rain forecast here. So 1 to 10 on Monday, that's fine. 5 mil on Tuesday, 0 to 3, 0 to 1, 0 to 9, and then potentially rain on the day. So it could be
softer deck,
softer track, but I think it was maybe. That kind of breeds soft.
Yeah, okay. Well, if it's a softer track and then just dulls Sunshine in Paris' brilliance,
yeah.
I think Traffic Warden, we know he can get through it. Switzerland will be able to get through it. He's a Schnitzel colt. Interesting. Lots to play out. Bella will get through it.
Irish Wing gets through it.
Yeah.
Probably adds more intrigue, to be honest.
Probably does, yeah. As long as it's not too heavy, yeah.
Yeah. All right. El Costello. So the spring champion. Tell you what, that Swift Falcon's got a bit of a turn of foot on it.
A little bit.
I like it.
Yeah. A little bit. On the quick backup as well there.
Given no chance. Like, they were just going to ride it cold.
Just as a barrier trial for him. You should like El Costello, though, because guess who's his daddy?
Castelvecchio.
Who won a spring champion himself.
He did. But El Costello was come from midway form. prior to that. So, but yeah, I think he'll be the tactical speed one, I feel, in the or just, sit a bit closer. But I think come the grand final day, I think I personally want to be with either Swift Falcon or Henline. It's my general feel.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, they were both excellent.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Getting into the quaddy legs here. Who? Might I add, your boys and some mates won the quaddy yesterday.
Yep.
Because of two good friends putting a nutrition in the first.
Yeah. I said on the podcast, I was like, I don't know why. I just keep coming back to him.
Yeah. $27.
That'll do.
That will do. Well done.
Set up my day as well, that's for sure. Yeah, he was brilliant. Showed some tactical speed and just was tough at the end. Yeah. And look, he was holding off a kitten, not a horse, but that's his first win in 12 months attrition. So I don't know, like from that, if I was Mitch Friedman and there was the opportunity to run him in a Cox Plate, like when's he going to have another horse that could do that? He might not.
Yeah.
Like would he be a $30 to $40 pop? Absolutely.
Yeah, he would be.
But I'd take the ticket.
Mm.
That was a good win. First time stretching out that far. He's by Churchill, So I just felt like, and coming out of that Fee and Stakes, a fast run mile race, just thought it'd bring him right on.
Mm. So I think,
and I wasn't the only one who thought that. My favourite punter in the world, Josh McClellan, thought that as well.
I know.
That filled me with confidence.
After the race, stupid price. That's all he said. So he would have had someone. My guy, nonconformist. Never again. 8-year-old gelding. Just didn't. I thought he was a sensational first up run. He ran okay. Beaten 4 lengths, not his day. But were you getting nervous when Kovalik popped out?
Not at all. Not at all. Oh, look, he ran well coming from that far back, but geez, he can run on a bit.
If he was like targeted towards the Caulfield Cup, I reckon I would be backing him. Like he's honestly like
he ran his best ever, the best he's ever run. He brained him. Was in a Queensland Derby over 2,400 metres.
Yeah.
Have we seen him out to 2,400 metres since then?
No. Hey, also at in the Doomben Cup, in the lead up to that, because he missed that run, remember? I think he had he had a stone bruise. So I think he ran the week prior. And he ran third against Huerta and whoever else. But he ran super.
Mm.
So he ran third at Way for Age, and then he absolutely brained him in a Queensland Derby. And that's when that Moody horse that I was on it, about 40 to 1.
That's right.
Ran second. Got absolutely smashed in the market too. But yeah, because I'm looking at this Caulfield Cup field, it's thin. If he was, and him and Allegron, some of the most mistrained horses in Australia. He's easily the number 1 ticket holder though.
Yeah, Allegron's right up there though.
Mm. Yeah,
right up there.
Royal Patronage is tough. Betting two and a bit lengths, but you could have him.
You can have him.
Pericles, he's in that conversation too. I don't know what they're really doing. I feel like has a bit of the Artorises about him. They don't really know what his best distance is.
I don't know what his best distance is.
I reckon it's a mile.
Well, yeah, to be fair, he ran, second or third in a Donny, and he was, 56 kilos?
Yeah, in the Underwood and then at this at 1900, he's just not shown that brilliance again. So it's like, I think there's a couple of things with him. You have to ride him forward. I think he's doesn't like to bang up on the lead, but he can sit just behind the speed. And at a mile, I think he's just grinding away and he's tough to get past.
Mm.
That's how I would classify Pericles.
Yep.
But yeah, it's troubling. Now, we didn't mention this horse's name on the podcast on Wednesday, but that's because I thought Jimmy might be heading here. But I did change. Well, I informed the source to put Here to Shock on top. Nash on, barrier 4.
Hot Nash.
Yeah. $10 SP. Thanks for coming.
Should have done the Quincy. With my guy Gringotts running second. I thought he was going to storm over the top of Here to Shock, but for the quaddie, I'm glad he didn't.
Thin Quincy. Only paid 14 to 1. That surprises me.
That is surprising. Yeah. Would have been nice to see both those horses in an Epsom.
Yeah.
Kidding me? $1.5 million listed race, mate. 1,400 metres the week after an Epsom. Doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
But no, it was a good win. He's a horse who I think could run super in a handicap Group 1 mile. Here to Shock. He's consistent, I'd say. Very consistent.
Yeah. You know, it's consistent first up. Is Alentia.
That was. I was going with attrition, like I was going. Went backwards a little bit with Gringotts because I got a bit arrogant because I want some money. But then, yeah, Alentia, I just felt on a good deck.
First up.
Bomb fresh.
Apparently she's turned into a woman. Like she's big, strong. Like so.
Is she a Zoo Star?
Yes.
I tell you what, Zoo Star mares just, there's something, aren't they? Zoo Star fillies, Zoo Star mares.
5-year-old mare now as well.
Yeah.
To your theory.
Oh, I think the more I punt and lose responsibly, the more I think that theory is rock solid.
Yeah, I think so. I found it fascinating by Chris Waller, right? After the race, is like, oh yeah, she's a Group 1 winning mare in waiting. I just don't know which race. I'm like, Chris, there is an Empire Rose in a few weeks. But I was thinking about it more because I feel like she'd still be fairly weighted in a handicap Group 1. So I'd say they probably want the handicap, then heading to Away for Age.
I'd say so.
So she's heading to the Invitation next.
Okay.
Which is the race that Espiona nudged out Magic Time. I reckon Roots might have been in the finish there last year as well.
Okay. Zugotch is heading to that as well. It's a 1,400 metre race, isn't it?
Let me have a look.
Pretty sure.
Yeah. Pretty sure.
Okay. Well, that'll be a smart little race. Who else was in that Alentia race? Because the market only wanted to be with her.
Yeah, well, a $41 pop. Danny's St. Darcy ran second. Raw Merchant, that's probably her best run since the Invitation last year, where she finished second. She was $21, finishing third, beating 1.5. Coco Jambu. Miss Hellfire, Ballroom Bella, Peace Treaty, Roots, Blanc de Blanc. You can have her.
Yeah, God.
Like the SP profile of that horse, for a horse that's won once, I think.
Blanc de Blanc.
Utterly madness.
Some of them just get RMP'd for some reason. Don't know why.
Yeah. So yeah, Alentia probably this, and then what could I see? What's that 1,500 metre mares Group 1 that Espiona won in the autumn?
Oh, the Zooey one as well. Coolmore. Classic.
Yeah. I reckon that will be her target.
Yep. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. And then, yeah, Ferrari won the last.
Ferrari. Yeah, so the quaddie, you know, we went big and then pretty big and then small in the last two legs, but just to get a win's nice.
Well,
put it in the DD fund.
We still had eight times our return on our investment, so it's pretty smart.
Yeah.
But it like for our roughest runner in the race, it was a 30 grand payout.
That would have been nice.
That would have been unbelievable. Wasn't really sighted though, and to be honest, we were cheering on the favourite because we had the first and third. So Tristate nearly wrecked the party, but Ferrari, smart win.
I think she was like the only thing sub $2 that got up all day. And there was a lot of things that were sub $2 yesterday.
So these are the prices at Caulfield. 8, 440, 6, 550, $2 Jimmy Star. 15s, 850, 13, 650, 5s. And then at Rosehill, 360, 11s, 4s, 650, 6, 280, 27, 10, 270, 180. Mixed day.
Mixed day.
Yeah.
Mixed day.
All right, let's have a look forward to these Group 1s for next week. So, let's start with the Everest.
The Everest. I can't believe it's a week away.
Yeah. I wish I win 550. Bella, Growing Empire, Traffic Warden 7s, Jolly Star 8s, Sunshine in Paris 10s, Steffi Magnetica 13s, Giga Kick 15s, Stormboy Switzerland at 15s. Obviously, one of them will only be running. Private Eye at 17s, I Am Me at 34s, Lady of Camelot at 34s.
Fascinating. I wish I win. I can't at the price at $5.50. I can't. Like, it's still a backable price if you like him, but you're hoping what you want from I Wish I Win is a peak performance similar to his TJ win, which was 18 months ago.
Mm.
And I don't trust that we're going to see that again from him. Bella,
You can trust her.
you can trust that she's probably going to run top 4, mate.
And we didn't really discuss this, but like, what was Craig supposed to do last start?
He's in
Like,
the coffin.
Yeah, like she missed the jump, and when was the last time she did that? Like, she still ran super. She probably still should have won. So if there is a bit of cut out of the track, like, that suits her. I think of the older horses, I think she's the one that is best suited. I was thinking prior to looking at the radar, and I should have done that before I put my futures things on, because I had Sunshine in Paris in there as well. She was just so good first up. She was absolutely brained him. Coat was off. She looked fat.
With respect.
Yeah, but she...
Don't want to body shame here.
No, but I think she's flying, clearly.
And the key to her, as we've seen now, is a good track. She still runs well on a heavy deck, all things considered.
Yeah, she does.
But I just don't think she has that electric furlong where she just puts the race to the sword on a soft deck.
Yep.
So Sunshine in Paris is, and as well as her, Steffi Magnetica.
Enormous price for her.
The double figure horses are, I'm like, huh? Steffi, have we seen Steffi's profile on a soft deck yet? Has she run on a soft deck?
I reckon she might have behind... No, that I don't think it was. I was thinking...
That tropical squall race?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but don't know if it is. Let me have a look.
I think she's the one where, like, she's gone to the races, a dozen times, if that. And Sunshine in Paris is pretty similar. I think they've got a little bit of untapped talent and could see a new peak on the day. And I've said this about Björn before, Bjorn. If Steffi Magnetica was favourite, wouldn't touch her. Because I feel like, bless him, but Bjorn's horses, when they're odds-on favourites short in the market, I think they underperform. Where you want to back him is when he's got something that's a bit rougher.
Yeah.
That's where you want to back him.
So, Steffi, 14 starts for 3 wins, 3 seconds and 4 thirds. So it's like, she's been in the top 3 10 times from 14 starts. 8 starts on soft for 2 wins, 1 third and 3 thirds. 2 firsts, 1 second, 3 thirds. 1 start on a heavy for nothing. But that could have been when she was no good.
And also, and that's the thing, I feel like with Steffi, you probably only really look at her
Last 12 months?
Yeah, I think so. And maybe not even that, maybe her last 9 months. But because she even took a little while to break her maiden, Steffi. So I think she's the one who's probably got something under the hood that we haven't seen yet. I think if Jolly Star runs to her first up performance, I think that's probably good enough to win this race. So if she matches that or improves on that, she's going to be incredibly hard to beat. Growing Empire, for whatever reason, I think that was a gut buster for him in the Manikato. Lightly raced 3-year-old colt up on the lead, and you could just see he was just struggling to get there. That tactical speed will help him in this race find a spot, but there's so much pressure here, and it's, again, another level for him. And I don't know if I could see him explode off that Manikato, whereas I could see Traffic Warden explode off that Golden Rose, and I could also see Switzerland explode off that Roman Console victory yesterday. I don't know if I can see that from Going Empire. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that makes sense to me. Of the three, rather, I'd say I'd much rather take Traffic Warden or Switzerland.
That run to the Rose win, I think, is a perfect setup for an Everest, because gets to the outside, and the gates are going to be so important in this race. Gets to the outside and get into that sort of three wide channel with a little bit of cover, and come out down the Randwick straight off a hot speed, and just we've seen electric turn of foot from him. Zachy Lloyd on. If he's sort of sitting midfield, he could just put in a performance where it's like, wow, like a yes type. I can definitely see that from him. Who am I going to bet on? I don't know. I don't know yet. I think the gates are going to be super important.
Yeah.
Like if he draws the widest gate, it makes it hard. It's going to make it hard for any of these horses to draw out.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Like this Wednesday is going to be tough in both states because of the forecast on the weather.
Yeah.
And we're the first preview show in the industry. So it's like we're putting in the hard yards for you guys, but
someone gave us our flowers on Twitter actually. So Dan O'Sullivan, who we talk about on the podcast pretty often, like big ratings guy, enormous ratings guy, big on the data. He posted something on Twitter or X, around the Group 1 racing pattern, and there was a drifter who commented on it saying like the industry's listening at On the Drift podcast.
Yeah,
and I said even a broken clock's right twice a day.
Of course it is. You know what you should have done is literally just find the link to that episode and put it in there. It's like, look at the timestamp of when we did this,
bruh.
All right, Caulfield Cup. Now I'm getting excited because I think I found one with 30 mil of rain forecast.
Okay.
So Buckaroo is your $4.60 favourite. Elias, $6. Land Legend, 8s. Zardozi, 9s. Young Werther at 15s. Give me a spell. Warmonger, 17s. Warp Speed, need to do more form on this Japanese runner, 17s. Deny Knowledge, 21s. Positivity, 21s. Coco Sun, 26s with Duke de Sessa and Just Fine. And how do you say that horse's name? Saturday.
Right.
Yeah. Need to find more information about that horse too. But if it's wet, 2,400 meters, 51 kilos for Zardozi, that is a bet at $9.
Yes, that Metrop run, she was 3 wide, no cover, never settled.
Yeah,
I think this could be a what's the chain store in the States? Walmart. This could be like a Walmart VE with respect, where it's a horse. She's a stayer who can perform in middle distance races. VE could win Group 1s over 1,400 meters. I think Zardozi's in that mold. She was solid up until the Metrop, where like clearly was so much better than everything else except for Land Legend, but gave him weight too. And he's an older gelding. She's a 4-year-old mare. And based on my theory of 4-year-old mares, she's going to be so much better next year. But I think in a pretty thin Caulfield Cup where Buckaroo, the question mark is, does he run out a strong 2,400 metres?
And does he appreciate wet ground?
I don't think he does.
No. At $9.
I'm taking Zardozi over to Land Legend.
Yep.
At a similar price in the market. And Warmonger's now at a price at 17s.
That is a stupid
Well,
price.
it's a ridiculous price. He was $6 a couple of weeks ago.
Look at my Ned's profile right now. Because I have Warmonger in there at 17s as well.
They're the two.
Has to be.
They're the two.
Have to be. So if you were to look at my Ned's profile right now, and I'll get it up for you so you can copy it. 'Cause, that's the whole idea for it all. But I have a Caulfield Cup, Melbourne Cup double for Zardozi at $111.
$111.
And 15 cents.
Every little bit counts.
I have Warmonger at 17s. I have a 3-leg place multi in futures for Zardozi to place in the Caulfield Cup, Sunshine in Paris to place in the Everest, Eek, and Bellatrix Star to place in the Coolmore at 450. So that's paying 44 to 1. And then this is the juicy one. Gamble responsibly. Don't have to put much on. Sunshine in Paris to win the Everest, Zardozi to win the Caulfield Cup, and Bellatrix Star to win the Coolmore at $1,350 to 1. So I think that's not without a shot.
No, it's definitely not without a shot. No, she after that Metrop win, I was like up 51 kilos in a Caulfield Cup. I think she's my pony. But at the same time, like I was before the Turnbull, I was looking at Warmonger in Caulfield Cup markets, literally as the race was about to jump, and he was like $6 or $7 from memory. And I was like, well, no, there's no way, because even if he does win this, he'll trim up, but he won't trim up significantly, maybe into 4s. So I was like, I'm not gonna play at that. But I was looking at this market yesterday, and I was like, huh? Last time bro went over 2,400 meters, he won by 7 lengths.
Yeah.
So if he turns up in that vein of form, hard to beat. Zardozi, if she improves on her Metrop performance, she'll be hard to beat as well.
So Warmonger will have 53.5 kilos. Buckaroo, 54.5. Pardon me. Faulkner Park confirmed that he's not going there anymore. But if it was a wet track, he had none anyway. So looking at this field, if Via Sustina goes there, but I doubt she will.
No.
I'd say your top weight will be Calipore at 55 kilos.
Geez, that's some compressed weights, isn't it?
Yeah.
So 51 doesn't sound as good anymore.
No.
But there's things around her which will be similarly weighted who she's better than.
Like, she'll be giving Coco Sun half a kilo. I know of the two, with respect, who I would prefer to be on.
Yeah.
Like, need to do more on this warp speed. He'll probably be the second elect, 54.5 with Buckaroo as well. But yeah, silly price. This has a massive long tail.
Oh God, yeah.
This Caulfield Cup. So I think they're the two that you can have a play at.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now the other one is the King Charles. So
shit.
If there's a bit of rain around, this makes it interesting. Pride of Jenny 250, Fangirl 270, Cheerwolf 7s, Mr. Brightside at 9s, Millie's Jewel at 12s, Celestial Legend at 13s, Kitty Cat Tom at 18s, Democracy Manifest, Kovalika, Myobron, Pericles, Royal Patronage, Zougotcha at 26s.
Sheesh. Pride of Jenny repeats a fan performance, then I think she'd be incredibly hard to beat. Fangirl's going to have to repeat her performance in this race last year to win. Can she do it? Absolutely. Absolutely. If it's a softer deck, perhaps not.
So we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah. Cheerwolf is flying. Joe said that this is the best middle distance horse he's ever trained.
I thought Think About It would have been.
Well, I think he's reneged on that. He said, because I think someone asked him, you've said that this is the best horse that you've ever trained. He's like, no, best middle distance horse that I've ever trained. It's like, okay. So I'm assuming he's classifying Think About It as a sprinter this prep.
Okay, good. That's good. That's a good start. Shearwolf, yeah, he's going to be on a similar sort of path to your Brightsides, and that's a massive compliment because, yeah, Brightside won a Donny with 50 kilos on his back at a huge price, and then would go on to run in your weight for age races, and not be disgraced, but wasn't a threat, and then within a year he was. These geldings, these 4-year-old geldings, like unless you're top tier, it can take a little while longer. I can definitely 100% see him running around in a Cox Plate next year as a 5-year-old gelding. I can see that. So no, good on you, Joe. I'll call you Joe this week.
Like tripping, but why isn't he in a Golden Eagle market?
Shearwolf.
Yeah, he's a 4-year-old, isn't he?
Yeah.
That seems a mistake. I would have thought he'd be heading there for sure. Unless they're thinking like I don't know, would you take him to a Cox Plate or something?
If you want this, I would. Yeah, on a quick backup. If he beat Pride of Jenny, is she favourite at the moment in Cox Plate? Close to it.
Yeah, she'd be very close to it.
Yeah, yes, I would. Because you don't know if he's going to be there next year.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, lots to unpack. But we've given you a few futures bets there. I think Zardozi's a sensational bet in the Caulfield Cup. But yeah, what's happening next week?
Oh yeah, big week.
Congratulations to those who found some winners yesterday. It was tough going, but
it was for some. But yeah, like when you have one favourite winning at Caulfield and then those big price things at Sydney, it is hard. But yeah, enormous week next week. Cannot wait. Oh my God.
yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you on Wednesday.
See you, Drifters.